Welcome to the most aggressive post-game show you're going to find anywhere on YouTube. Damon, Bruce, it is wonderful to have you here. An awful lot of regulars already in the room. Welcome back, Plusers. Welcome all of you. We are going to be welcoming a new sponsor when Postgame and Damon officially begins to give postgame. But again, we're so aggressive. We begin at the 2-minute warning, and at the 2-minute warning, this one should be in the barn, but it's not. I mean, give Tampa credit for making the plays or getting the drive that it needs to stay in this game. And on a 4th and ball game, they just stopped Christian McCaffrey short, and they do have the ball back. They are driving on the 49ers when they come out of this 2-minute warning, but it is a 27-14 lead. So the amount of things that really need to go wrong would put this right into one of the most catastrophic, worst losses of the entire NFL season. I do believe the 49ers are positioned well to win this game, but as we know, nothing is over until it's over in the NFL. But what we are looking at to this point is an exemplary afternoon from Brock Purdy. One of the things that we talked about this week was playing with expectations. That's Brock 2.0. You forget the fact that he's played, just enough games to qualify for, that's a full season of football from an amount of games played standpoint. Brock 2.0 really, to me, more than anything else, is when it goes from being a good story to it doesn't matter what you think of the story. This kid's now a player and he has a level of expectations that become attached to him. That's where he is now. And that is a flag on the field, but it also looks like a sack on Baker Mayfield. We are back out of the 2-minute warning here, but we got a flag early. My eyes were on you, not on the game. I can't tell you what it is until it actually cuts to holding, offense, penalty declined. 49ers are going to take that sack, and it looks like Nick Bosa, who is lined up inside on this one. How about that? Bosa gets stood up a little. He keeps rolling. He keeps stunting. Mayfield is pushed into him by the pressure of Armstead, and Bosa's there to just kind of clean up the mess. They might give Greenlaw a half a sack on that one. They might split it between Bosa and Greenlaw, but now 2nd and 17. And again, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs need something big, quick, in order to really get back into this game. But even at that point, it's going to be tough to imagine the 49ers giving this one up. It is great to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm proud to let you know that we begin today's show with exactly 9,200 subscribers. So I hope you're one of the first 9,200. And if you're not and you're in here right now, the algorithm brought us together. If you're new, welcome. I can tell you that this is one of the best chat rooms you're going to find anywhere with smart, respectful sports fans. What a concept. That is a Chase Young sack of Nick Bosa to bring up 4th down. And on a day where I was going to tell you, Baker Mayfield wasn't sacked very much here in the final moments of the game. He has been sacked twice by the 49ers. So that is at least 4 sacks that he's taken. Brock Purdy has taken 4 sacks to this point in this game. But thank you for being here. It's great to have you here. I promise to never waste your time. We promise to never get too emotional about anything and deal with facts. And the fact of the matter is, Baker Mayfield just let go of a bomb, and the Niners dropped what was their 3rd dropped interception of the day. But that is going to be it. Nothing but knees and victory formation remaining really for the 49ers. Look, give Baker Mayfield some credit. He's a little Jimmy Garoppolo-like in terms of, he gives you moments of leadership. He'll give you a few drives in a row where you're like, man, this guy, he's pretty good. He's on today. And then he, like every 10 passes or so, uncorks something that just makes you go, what is he looking at? What are you thinking of? There's none of that in Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy today essentially played a perfect football game. He was fantastic. Oh, and what do you know? He's the 3rd 49ers quarterback ever with a perfect career passer rating. Joe Montana, Steve Young, 2 guys you might have heard of, and he's the first 49er to do it since 1989. A perfect passer rating day for a guy who came into the NFL leading it in passer rating, came into this game leading in QBR, which is ESPN's new design stat to explain how good these guys are. You know, if we're going to go by those two stats, Brock Purdy is officially one of the best quarterbacks in football. He really is. You know, there were a few videos that I put up this week that said a little premature, and I get it. I'm not saying he's one of the all-timers, one of the greats, but in the context of the 2023 football season that everybody's played about 10 games in, nobody's played better football than Brock Purdy at the position of quarterback. If you want to measure it against just what did you do in a game, what did you do on the field? Not what is your potential, not what is your body type, what is your physical, what do you do physically? Brock Purdy, his best asset might be his eyes. And you heard Moose Johnson talking about that. His eyes are always downfield. His eyes are always not just on a target, but in a progression. And that's what makes Brock Purdy a very special, cerebral, physically gifted, more than a lot of people. Hold on, I got a little space heater going on here. It's a little hot. That's it. It is officially a final, which means it is my pleasure to welcome you for the first time ever to the Hughes Orthopedics postgame show. Our new sponsor, let me tell you, Dr. Paul Hughes last week worked on my knee. I was a absolute, contestant, qualified to get a partial knee replacement. A little cellular knee therapy has my knee feeling younger already. And we'll talk more about that, but welcome to Dr. Hughes, who is pushing new medicine instead of old, dirty medical tricks that the industry pulls on a lot of people. And we'll tell you all about that, not just through today's show, but through the remainder of the season. It's great to have Dr. Paul Hughes and Hughes Orthopedics sponsoring the show. A 27-14 win for the 49ers. They are officially now, the 49ers are officially got a 2-game winning streak here coming out of the bye week. They look like a really good football team again. They had some struggles in the red zone today. You saw a first half where the Buccaneers were in this game basically because they were in the game on the scoreboard. They really hadn't done anything tremendous but put together a drive. Field goals are good, but touchdowns are better. You know, it's nice to see Jake Moody make field goals. I'd rather see him tacking on some points after the fact, after a little bit more first half red zone success. That's when I'd like to see those field goals come. But Moody makes his field goals, which is good. Again, field goals are good, but touchdowns are better. And had the 49ers not settled for a few early field goals, they would have 100% blow out City. That's what this afternoon could have been. The second half then took that you're only close on the scoreboard kind of away from Tampa when the 49ers quickly go up 20, where Brock Purdy finds Brandon Ayuk for now what is the longest touchdown completion of his career after having one of those just last week with George Kittle. This week it turns into Brandon Ayuk. So the second half, it looked like it got away from Tampa quickly, right? And it kind of did. But then, the Buccaneers put together that lightning quick drive. It's exactly what they needed. Then they get off the field defensively. Give them full credit for doing that. It's still a game with 12 minutes left before it's blowout City. And then the 49ers, look, they gave up a sack at the wrong time. They have a 3-and-out at the worst possible time. They allowed one of their worst special teams plays of the season at the wrong time. And that kept this game more interesting than it should have been in the fourth quarter. But when it's all said and done, Jair Brown, who basically, today's the day that 49ers fans met Jair Brown. I saw Guy Haberman put up a stat on Twitter that to this point, before you saw Jair Brown today, Chase Young, who had just joined the game or the team last week, had more defensive snaps than Jair Brown. So the rookie who was their first pick happened in the third round. Their first pick of last year's draft, third rounder out of Penn State safety Jair Brown, essentially today was introduced to 49ers fans. The introduction was not good as he gives up And by the way, we'll get to Talanoa Hufanga, who, it looks like he tore his ACL, looks like he popped his meniscus. His knee buckled on him, and you could see it actually in the joint kind of buckle. Again, Hughes Orthopedics would be able to explain this better than I, but you could see the knee buckle a little bit. Hufanga's a big piece of this defense, so we'll eye on that, right? But what we've got going on is Jair Brown is now taking important snaps. He blows his first snap and then makes a couple of plays in the end zone that were just money plays. I mean, real money plays. He has an interception in the end zone that basically that's the ball game. He breaks up a pass and runs with Mike Evans when that was a leap of faith for Steve Wilks to take, was it not? I mean, that was a little bit of a leap of faith, but they blitz Oliver. They leave Jair Brown in his first, I'm actually playing football out here, really game. He's up against Mike Evans, who's already got a touchdown on the day, and he plays him well in the end zone. I'll tell you, Moses Moody, I thought today, did a nice job playing without the penalties that he's been attracting, and he was doing some late hand fighting, late at the top of the route, pass breakups. I mean, it was a good day for the 49ers secondary. It really was. Baker Mayfield's afternoon, again, he didn't have a bad day. Baker Mayfield was 29 of 45 for 246 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He was sacked 4 times, 2 of those sacks coming right at the end of the game. Brock Purdy, just spectacular. 21 of 25, 333 yards with 3 touchdowns, and those training camp interceptions on that one Wednesday, I told you they didn't matter. Some insisted that they did. They didn't. This is what matters. Brock Purdy is what matters to the 49ers. There's a lot of guys out there that matter. That's what makes them such a hard-to-defend football team. But boy, Brock Purdy has gone from hope the young guy plays well to a level of expectation like, I'm kind of expecting a good day out of him. And Brock Purdy, again, turned a good game into a great game when he hit Brandon Ayuk for that 76-yard touchdown pass very early in the second half. At that point in the game, Purdy was 16 of 19 for 261 yards with 2 touchdowns and nearly 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter. But he took, again, a good game into a great game, and then he turned a great game into a career game when he basically went 3 for 3 for 54 yards on a drive that ended with his 3rd touchdown pass of the day. That put the 49ers up 20 and really gave them the cushion that they needed for this to, did it become a sweat at the end there? Not really. The Buccaneers get an awful lot of credit for staying alive. They did. They stayed alive in a game where they could have been put to bed a few times. They get some credit for staying alive. The 49ers didn't totally choke them out when they could have, but this was not really a sweat. Like at no point in time, at any point in time in this game, were the Buccaneers in charge of it. The 49ers were in charge of this game today. Pretty much from pillar to post. Welcome. Little post game and Damon. If you're new here, my name's Damon Bruce. It's great to have you on the channel. Please hit that like button. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button too, if you will. Like I said, we started with 9,200 subs, so I'm going to know exactly how many we added based on this show alone. 9,200 even. 9,200 on the odometer. So how many will we pick up today? I had a goal to get to 10,000 before Thanksgiving. It's going to have to be a remarkable 4 or 5 days in subs to get there. So now the goal is before the end of the year. Help me make that goal before the end of the year. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, make the YouTubes love me. The radio used to love me. I spent years doing 49ers postgame, and now I get to do it here with you, and that excites me an awful lot. Let's rock indeed. We go to the chat room for the first time today. True Blue Forever, got to be happy with what he saw. You are so right about this, Sporticus. Fred Warner, Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was a great movie. He's a hell of a linebacker. Fred Warner had a monster game today. An absolute monster football game today. The Shaw. Why does Kyle get so conservative in the fourth quarter? When you're up you really don't need to keep gambling, I guess. Could a couple of plays pop if McCaffrey doesn't get stuffed there on that late 4th and 1. The game is over, and I don't even know if you send that chat to Shaw. But look, when I think it's hard to criticize what was an exemplary game plan by Kyle today. The first touchdown pass of the day was just extraordinary. It is a 4-yard pass to hold on. It's a 4-yard pass to McCaffrey as they are 4th and goal. So from the 4-yard line, right? He's got every single person running to the left. It is flood the left, and he's got McCaffrey just bait his coverage into a stutter step, and he comes through the center guard gap running this pattern that you don't see. Patterns usually come from inside inside the guards. But that's where this came from, and McCaffrey was wide open, and it was one of the more perfectly designed plays I've seen in my football lifetime, and it worked. It worked. It was a nearly perfect offensive afternoon for the 49ers. So I got no real criticisms there. Jonas checking in from overseas. Jonas, thank you for being here. Icelandic. Looking forward to the Brock Purdy suck train. Yeah, it's going to have trouble staying on the tracks. It really is. Because, again, Brock Purdy isn't going from the I don't think he's very good to he might be good more than he is going from he might be good into he might be great. And I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. Okay, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and say that, right after he has one of his biggest career games down in Jacksonville, he comes back today for the first perfect passer rating that the 49ers have put up since 1989. Only 2 other quarterbacks in the history of the franchise named Joe and Steve have done that. And, what we're seeing from Purdy, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but look, it feels like he gets better by the week, right? It's been like linear upward progress for Purdy week to week, with the exception of the 3 losses. And I won't even say bad games in a row, because in his worst game, he did have the 49ers in position to where Moody hits that field goal, they win. And even on a bad day, Brock Purdy brought the Niners into the win column, but it didn't happen. Then in the 2 games where he threw the interceptions, the 4 interceptions, he played spectacularly, but for those 4 interceptions. And they came late, so it's all anybody remembered. But he threw for over 700 yards and had 70% completion percentages over those 2 losses. So while the 49ers had a 3-game losing streak, Brock Purdy only had a 1-game played poorly streak, and that was a game that was lost by a field goal. So Purdy has almost had the impossible to even hope for, dream of. You can't order linear, never dipped. This stock only goes like this. There's no stock that only goes like this. There's no athletic career that only goes like this. This growth doesn't exist anywhere except for in SEC level Bernie Madoff fraud. That's the only. There's no such thing as batting 1,000 in development, in progress. It does not exist. Brock Purdy was pretty damn good the first time we've ever seen him. He's almost gone like this since he's started playing. And it feels like there's an argument to be made that he gets better by the week almost. What does that mean? What does that equal? I can't tell you that this means he's going to be a great quarterback. I can't tell you that this means the Niners are going to go back to the NFC title game and maybe the Super Bowl this year. We don't know where this goes. We only know where it is. And where Brock Purdy is in a pretty damn spectacular place. That's what we know. I mean, it's provable. It is provable in a courtroom that this is an unbelievable start to a career, which started pretty damn impressively and essentially has not taken a step backwards at any point in time. The impossible linear growth is near linear growth. How does that happen? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's an awful lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan as a coach, to Brock as a kid who's just sees the field, knows the game, feels the game, all the cerebral stuff that can't be measured. He's got tons of that. And the talent that this team has around him is significant. I mean, Christian McCaffrey didn't even come close to having a great game today, and he was fantastic. Deebo Samuel didn't have a great game today, but he was good. Brandon Ayuk had a great game today. And even he made a bonehead play when he didn't take the ball out of bounds at the end of the first half. Brandon, what are you thinking about? What are you doing there? I'm sure he'll hear about it. It was a good day for the offensive line. Wasn't great. It was a pretty good day for the 49ers defense, especially when it needed. I mean, it was the ultimate bend, do not break kind of afternoon for them, but they did a hell of a job taking Chris Godwin and Mike Evans kind of out of the day. Those guys made a few plays, but the Niners did a really nice job in the secondary, slowing them down. And it was just, it was a good day. Good day for the 49ers. Very good day for the 49ers. And whoa, hey, we've already got 6 new subscribers. Thank you so very much. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And be here so I can tell you more about Hughes Orthopedics. And instead of me getting a knee surgery, I got some celery. I got the Kobe. I got the Kobe in Germany treatment is basically what Dr. Paul Hughes does. And I will tell you to go to Hughes.com, HughesOrthopedics.com. And maybe this will keep a knee replacement surgery from happening if you have the arthritis like I did. Listen to me, 48-year-old man calling it the arthritis. No arthritis for the 49ers today. They were loose, they were limber, and even though Tampa gets credit for keeping this game in doubt, that's all it ever was. Maybe a little doubt crept in, but they were never really in control of this game at any single point in time. A 27-14 win for the 49ers. Some of the numbers, again, Christian McCaffrey, 21 carries, 78 yards. It's funny, for a minute, I thought we saw Kyle going against his, I'm going to use Christian McCaffrey a little bit too much just because I insist on it type of feeling. And we saw Elijah Mitchell almost get like a whole series. It looked like he was getting an early first half series, and I don't think he touched the ball in the second half. Brandon Ayuk had the standout in the box score day beyond Purdy. Brandon Ayuk, 5 catches, a career best 156 yards and a touchdown, a long of 76 yards, which now becomes the longest touchdown pass of Brock Purdy's young, impressive career. All impressive stuff today by the 49ers. And again, Brock Purdy gets better by the week. He was pretty good when we saw him for the first time, and it feels like he gets better just about all the time. And the biggest drive of the game, he was perfect on it today. I thought Purdy was perfect on the biggest drive of the game. The Niners get the ball back with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and they're up 13. They're up 20-7. And it's a chance to put the game away. What do the Niners do? Well, first play of that drive, you got McCaffrey spinning for a first down. He's in the second level so often. He really is. You get Kittle in the flat. That's an 11-yard gain, so it's a first down. Then Christian McCaffrey gets eaten up like supper time by Vita Vea, who's just a house of a human being. That's a 4-yard loss. And then, so there you are. It's 2nd and 14. Nope. 39-yard strike to Deebo Samuel, first down. One of the biggest plays of the day. Christian McCaffrey, he then runs for 6. McCaffrey then spins to a 3rd and short. McCaffrey again runs around the left side for a first down. That makes it 1st and goal. McCaffrey then gets it down to the 3-yard line. So we got McCaffrey touching this ball on 6 times on this drive. And then it's a touchdown pass to Kittle to cap a 9-play, 79-yard drive that took over 5 minutes and really put the game away, even though the Buccaneers created an illusion that they were still in the game. And I mean, they were, but never in control of it, that's for sure. By the way, It's good to have over 360 people in the room. Thank you for being here. As the channel grows, as the show grows, that number grows week to week. It used to top out around 270, 350, I think is the biggest. I don't think I've ever had 363 in here. That number is going to be in the thousands soon enough because this grows. I believe we got not only a good show, but we've got a really great chat room, which I hope you're diving all over. The regulars, the Plus Army, these are phenomenal sports fans. And, treating folks with a little respect is a nice way to go about it, having some fun. And that's what's happening in the chat room. We want to go ahead and straight up, look, there's always trolls that get through, right? But we try to weed them out. We try to ignore them because that's the best way to deal with such creatures. And we keep on adding what I think is nuanced, intelligent, adultish sports talk into a world that could use some. Or as Carissa Thompson reported, that Bob Costas show that Damon Bruce pretends to do is pretty good. He's on HBO. Thank you, Carissa. Not accurate, but I'll just make it up as you go along, I guess. I don't mean to kick Carissa when she's down, but seriously, it's hard to have credibility when you say you make shit up on the spot. We don't make shit up. Sometimes we get shit wrong, but we don't make shit up. That's the one thing I can promise you. It was a really good day for the 49ers all around. It was a well-coached, well-executed, but for a few flags. But it wasn't a day full of mental mistakes by any players. It really wasn't. It wasn't a day that was where it felt like these flags are just going against you and you're hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. So pretty impressive, I think, all the way around. Old Dirty Hungus saying happy Victory Sunday. Little man's birthday. So happy birthday to young Dirty Old Hungus's son there. There you go. Since you're out already, I'm not going to officially wear the hat for you, but there's the official Plus Party birthday hat. And happy birthday. Midnight over in Iceland. Well, Flurgen Jurgen to you, my friend. It is good to have you here. Leslie's right. I'm telling you. Yeah, Baker Mayfield. He's scrappy. He went out and he put a body on Bosa today. He blocked Nick Bosa and did it well. Thank you very much. Jason said, place to be after the game, fire content, and emojis don't lie. We all know that. So I thank you. Dennis H. is right. You're going streaking. You are streaking. Again, you get a perfect passer rating. You get one big cock Brock joke on the show. Well, I wouldn't say it's a family show, but kids can be around for the most part. Might want to go earmuffs from time to time. But yeah, you get to drop a big cock Brock and put a little love on it after a game like that. Ayuk is the man. He really is. He absolutely is. He's the best wide receiver that this team has had since who? Michael Crabtree? Is that fair? Best wide receiver since... Yeah, maybe it's Michael Crabtree. Maybe it is. Guy's fantastic. Stacy's checking in from the old wagon, downtown San Jose. There you go. Shout out the old wagon. I don't think I've ever been to the old wagon in San Jose, but I like it by its name alone. Rock Eastwood saying, you know what? Pretty excited about Jair Brown on the field. Sorry, Hufanga. Look, let's not forget that Talanoa Hufanga's very, very early in his career, and he's already been a Pro Bowler. Like, Hufanga's good. Not having a great season, but the 49ers defense, I don't think you can make the argument that they will be better if that's a significant knee injury for him. Johnny Dunn says, Damon, 100% agree. It was back and forth, but Brown, Bosa, and Young sealed that one. They sealed the deal. They did. Smiley Dan, by the way, is conducting a winning streak. He's conducting a safety meeting. And so, did I say Moses Moody? I said Moses Moody. Talking about Mooney Ward. Pardon me. I still got some Warriors on the brain from last night. I'm sure I'm getting killed for Moses Moody. I'm about 20 minutes behind here. Yeah, a lot of Moses Moody. Yes, Mooney Ward. Pardon me. Steve Wilkes survives another week. He certainly does. You know what they say? What do the kids say? Like, touch grass, go touch grass. Ever since Steve Wilkes has been touching grass, 49ers defense has been putting up a much better effort. The Never Daunted Radio Network is enjoying a Purdy win from a rooftop in Puerto Rico. Well, the Hoosiers weren't in Puerto Rico today. They were getting their asses handed to them by UConn at Madison Square Garden, but couldn't ask for it, even if the Hoosiers did let us down. Yeah, it was a good day for the 49ers, no doubt about it. Good day for the Niners. We have Welbert Campos saying, first time here, cheers from Brazil. Oi, tutu bang. That's all I know. It's the only Portuguese I got there. Wilbert, I hope you were around long enough to enjoy the tutu bang. I really do. It always makes, hey, Portuguese, feel a little bit more welcome, right? Again, I've got a lot of first-timers in here. Thank you so much for being in here. Hit that subscribe button. Oh, 6 more? Now we have added 14 subscribers since the show began. So thank you very much. And again, the like button. Can't believe I have to still say these things in my career now, but here we are. It's a whole new world. And in terms of a world that the 49ers are living in football again, they are one of the elites once again. You know, when we talk about the 4 best teams in the NFC, it is the Eagles, and we got ourselves a big Monday Night Football game tomorrow night, right? Eagles and Chiefs. It's the Eagles, it's the 49ers, it's the Cowboys, and it's the Lions. Seahawks are up next. By the way, let me open up a scoreboard right up here so I can see what is going on in that Seahawks game. The Rams are up a point, 17-16. Seahawks got the ball, 42 seconds left. I'm going to open up that box score and keep an eye on that one for you because that is a big division game. Seahawks had the, you're going to win this game kind of written all over them, but it was a Rams bye week. Rams were coming out of a bye, and you give a good coach a bye week, that'll take a team that's not having a particularly great season and put them in a much better place. Seahawks were having a very interesting season, but a loss today would be devastating to their cause and certainly not the game that they wanted before the 49ers go rolling in for Thanksgiving. And by the way, I want to invite everybody back for Thanksgiving. Let's call it late dinner, because the 49ers are the late game on Thanksgiving, and we will be at it right at the 2-minute warning, as we always are here. So hopefully you have a great time with family. But look, maybe you're not around family. Maybe you live far away, and you're going to have a little kind of I'm feeling alone on Thanksgiving. Well, come on into the Plus, baby. Water's fine. You will be amongst friends and family right over here. So hope to see you on Thursday. Gobble, gobble. Coming on up. But man, this was a good game. Really good game. The 49ers are back among the teams that are look, we got a contender, kids. That's what we got. You got a contender, and now it's about handling some very interesting business coming up, right? There's very interesting business coming up with the 3 games that are coming up: Seattle, Philadelphia, Seattle. You won't find a tougher 3-game stretch on the schedule than that. So that is big coming up. And how the 49ers get from that through that will really tell you whether or not they're real contenders. But as of tonight, as of right now, they're contenders. And I really do think it's more than just, us looking at it, wanting them to be that. If you're a 49er fan, you got a good team here, and you realize that. And if you stay healthy, you're going to have a puncher's chance against anybody in this league. That's the real key for them here. How healthy can the 49ers remain between now and the postseason? And then how healthy can you remain through the postseason? Will play as big a factor as to who wins the Super Bowl or not this year. Let me ask you this. Do you think the 49ers get mollywopped in Philadelphia in the NFC title game if Brock Purdy had played that whole game? I don't. Might they have lost? Sure. But would it have been a laugher? Hell no. And anytime the Niners are in a game, even though we still don't have a lot of evidence that they're a very good come-from-behind team, as a matter of fact, down 8 in the fourth quarter, there's an overwhelming amount of evidence they aren't a come-from-behind team. That's okay if you don't have to come from behind. And if the 49ers are good enough out to get a lead, why does Kyle get conservative? Because getting a lead, sitting on it, and not turning the ball over late in the game and making a mistake that hurts yourself has brought him into the win column a whole mess of times. Whole mess of times. Mountain Cat. I'll say it. Purdy's an outstanding quarterback. Hold me to it. He looks pretty outstanding. He keeps playing. How about this? He sure keeps on mirroring how you'd think an outstanding quarterback might look for a guy who stinks, right? Imagine banking your entire career on he can't play. He can play. Michael Bradley. You're right, Michael. Just enjoy the moment. Be a fan. There is a big moment to enjoy. I mean, there's something going on here. Again, if this is how good Brock Purdy is in his 19th regular season game, is that what he's playing? Yeah, that guy hasn't even started 20 fucking football games in the regular season yet. And look at who he is. He hasn't started 20 games. Since he's entered the NFL, he's got the best passer rating there is. It's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I'm gonna catch up to real time in this chat. And on the way to catching up to real time in this chat, I see our first super chat of the day comes from our good friend the Shaw. 10 spot, put it in the ganja jar. There she is, the JJ Raider ganja jar. Raiders didn't get to smoke any ganja today, right? Miami won that game. Jimmy Johnson. Is that what the JJ stands for? The Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson might be putting one in the air today. He's getting into the Ring of Honor. Wouldn't it be funny if all of a sudden Jerry Jones is not there that day in Dallas? He's like, I'm so sorry. I had other plans, but Jimmy's going into the ring. I just don't want to be here for it. Oh, Shush. Shush is calling up a Maximum Football. Here you go, Shush.
Maximum Football!
Anquan Bolden. Brandon Ayuk, the best receiver since Anquan Bolden. Okay. I mean, maybe. Better than Crabtree? Yeah. I mean, he might be. Best, well, I mean, the man wasn't a wide receiver, but best pass catcher since Vernon Davis? Larry Wong. The value we're getting out of Brock is insane. Last pick in the draft. Does he even make $1 million? Larry, he makes $800-something thousand a year. His salary is so insignificant, it doesn't even get measured in the cap. Doesn't even get, his salary is so low, it doesn't even count against the cap. That's all you need to know about what that looks like in terms of value. So small, you can't even measure it. Indiana Jim. He's the best since Terrell Owens. Crabtree had great hands, but that's it. I mean, that's not That might be right. By the way, we take you live to SoFi Stadium where we got ourselves a final. The Los Angeles Rams, out of a bye week, beat the Seahawks 17-16, scoring 10 unanswered fourth quarter points. And it is a come from behind win. And so before the 49ers roll into Seattle on a short week, they picked up a game on the Seahawks. They got a Thursday nighter now against the Seahawks, and then they're going to have a little bit extra bonus time to get ready for the Eagles. Woo. What a stretch of days those are for the 40. I mean, what a stretch of games over the next, 28 days? Is that what it is? Not even 25 days or so? 49ers play some seriously consequences attached to it football. And we're going to be here, and I hope you keep on coming back to the channel for great content about the 49ers. And really, not here. We're going bigger than the Bay. Although we got a lot to talk about from the Bay, and we were not going to get into the Warriors now, but nothing smooth over there for the Golden State Warriors. But some fascinating games and developments today around the NFL. And look we're welcoming Welbert. There we go. I mean, that's the kind of crowd we got in here. Welcome. It's good to see you. Would you like a drink? Do you need a cookie? Does Smiley Dan need to take you outside for a safety meeting? Or why don't you go ahead and have your own safety meeting and then come on back and tell Smiley Dan that you're safe? I want everybody to be safe. Niners played well enough tonight. I might have my own little safety meeting when this show is over and enjoy a little Sunday night football and a little time with the family. And then I want to invite you all back for 49ers Wake Up at 8 a.m. West Coast time. 8 a.m. Larry Krueger and I are going to be recapping everything that we just saw about this 49ers win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're going to have ourselves the single best day after 49ers show there is out there. And I don't care what medium you're talking about. YouTube, radio, TV. Larry and I will have it on lock for a couple of hours. 49ers Wake Up starting at 8 a.m. West Coast time on Monday morning. That's right. I got to speak in time zones. We're international, baby. We're getting down in Portuguese. We got audience in Japan. We got ourselves audience all over the world. That's the incredible thing about YouTube. And it really is cool. The little community that you get to build on YouTube. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. As are the Niners. Blowing out. Not blowing out, probably an exaggeration. But they win, they cover. 27-14 over Tampa Bay. It could have been a lot worse than that. Baker wanted to throw 3 or 4 interceptions today. The Niners kept dropping those. They kept on having to settle for a few field goals when you'd like to see those red zone opportunities turn into touchdowns. But the one thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been very good at all year, red zone defensively, they're right up there at the top of the NFL. So they do batten down the hatches in the red zone. And the Niners, again, that 30-point mark feels a little magical. You love to see the Niners get in there to that 30-point range. But 27 is pretty good too. Young Leak TV. I thought this said Ty. Young Leak TV says Huff tore his ACL. Is that official? Is that official? I don't think anyone in the chat would want to give me wrong information, but I haven't seen that. But again, I've been hosting a show, and I have not been on Twitter or checking any news since we started hosting the show. And by the way, welcome to the show, the Hughes Orthopedics Postgame and Damon show, where we, I think, give as good a postgame as you're going to find anywhere in the world, if you don't mind me saying. And Hughes Orthopedics has got new ways to treat joint pain that go far beyond the unnecessary surgery that is assigned to people partial knee surgery, knee replacement, shoulder replacements, these things are because big replacement is a real thing in the medical community. He's got a treatment that Kobe Bryant turned to get his knee right. Cellular replacement therapy is real, kids. And my knee feels a lot better than it did just a week ago. So we'll be telling you more about Hughes Orthopedics. You can go to HughesOrthopedics.com for any and all information. We decided that he was going to be a sponsor, and then he forgot to send me the important email about all the contact information. So we'll have more of that for you as the weeks go by here, but it's wonderful to have Hughes Orthopedics in here as the new sponsor. We have it seconded now. Indeed, Mountain Cat says Huff toward the... Oh, no, he's questioning. For real? Is that for real? If it is, that's not good. Talanoa Hufanga, early enough in his career, is on one of those trajectories that you don't want to see snapped right now. By the way, I'm glad, I always got votes for Anquan Bolden to share with everyone because Anquan Bolden was a badass. Do you remember when that guy played with a broken palate? Like, how can you play football when the bone that's broken, this one, what bone did you break? This one right here. This was top of my mouth is broken, coach. And he still played. That's some badass, that's some big boy, tougher than all of us put together moment from Anquan Bolden. Another super chat. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Slipping a 20 into the ganja jar. D. Bruce, congrats on the new sponsor. Well, thank you so very, very much. It's great to have a new sponsor, and it's even better to have a new knee. Feels like I got a new knee. The Lions' schedule is a joke. You know what? How many times did you say that? How many times can you say that about anybody in the NFC Central? Because, God, the not good enough that you find in that division is pretty rampant. But, yeah, they got an easy, can burn. There should be a 4 or 5 game wins in a row ripped off here by the Lions if they really are this, hey, we're not just the Detroit Lions anymore. We're the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions, the kind of Lions that...
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
The kind of football team that makes you say...
Come on, Dees. Dees nuts.
If that's the new Lions team, they're about to go on a really nice winning streak. And the road to the Super Bowl could go through Detroit. Let me just give you this, right? What if the Eagles, and this is not a, hard to imagine thing. What if the Eagles lose at Arrowhead on Monday Night Football? I don't know who they play next weekend, but then after that, it's the Niners. What if the Eagles are losing 2 of their next 3 football games because the Niners go into Philadelphia and get that done? Just throwing out scenarios. Because here's the deal. Someone's got to beat the Eagles before I'm just going to assume that's going to happen, right? They're good. Eagles are good. I respect the hell out of the Eagles. You got an offensive line that plays like that, you can beat just about anybody, anytime, anywhere, doing whatever you want. The Eagles control football games because they control the line of scrimmage. There is no real coincidence that the 49ers have controlled 2 games in a row where it feels like they controlled the line of scrimmage. I don't think the offensive line has had great afternoons in either Jacksonville nor in Santa Clara today. But that defensive line, without it being an overwhelming afternoon today, they control things. They control things up front. They are making sliver holes to run through. By the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are having a very bad season running the football. Second to last average in the NFL. And today they carried 18 times for 66 yards. 18 times for 66 yards is all the Buccaneers got out of their running game today. And when you can start making an offense one-dimensional with a defensive line that can get to and after the quarterback, you can start wreaking havoc. Hey, we've added 28 subscribers. Thank you very much. We started with 9,200 on the dot. We're at 9,228 now. Well, can we get to 50 today? Could we add 50 subscribers in a single show? My goodness, that would be a monster. If you decided to join and hit that notify button, you'll know that we'll be back with you not only on Thanksgiving, but after the Eagles game and after every game. And did I say after? What I meant is at the 2-minute warning of all these games, which means we will also be spending Christmas and New Year's together. Huh? I told you we got a little community here. Told you we're building something for real over here. We're going to be hanging out on holidays. All of our major holidays are going to be spent together. Don't miss a thing. Don't miss a video. Don't miss a show. Hit notify. And look, if you decide, yeah, Damon, that's a little bit too much, then you unsubscribe down the road. But help me get to 10,000. I'd love to get to 10,000 before the end of the year. I wanted to get there before Thanksgiving. I think I got to temper that goal. But again, you want to... What's the old Casey Kasem thing? You keep your feet on the ground, but shoot for the stars, or something like that. You want to get to the moon, you got to shoot for the stars, or something like that. We got some goals. We got some lofty goals. We got aggressive goals. We got kids to feed. We got a wife to keep. We got to keep Mrs. Plus happy. By the way, Mrs. Plu's taking one for the team today. She's got the kids to a playground right now, so that's why it's nice and quiet in the house. Gives us time to hang out together. 27-14 49er win today. Brock Purdy carved up the Buccaneers. Carved them up. Turkey served early on Turkey on the 50 Stadium. But Turkey served early. Brock was out there sharpening the shing, sharpening the knife. He's at the table like a proud father, just slicing that turkey, carving the turkey. Who wants a little white meat? Who wants some dark meat? All right, it's time. It's time to break the wishbone. Brock was perfect today. The first perfect quarterback rating a 49ers quarterback has put up since 1989. There are 3 49er quarterbacks to ever walk off of a football field after a Niners game with a perfect quarterback rating. Their names are Joe, Steve, and Brock. Is that good? Is that good company to keep if you're a Niner quarterback? Joe and Steve? Are they the benchmarks? The answer is yes. They're the benchmarks. Again, Purdy gets better by the week. He gets better by the week. I thought one of the interesting starts of this game today is that Kyle came out and played a little left-handed, right? He tried to do some things that are definitely against his tendencies. Now, he would lean on Christian McCaffrey later. As a matter of fact, he'd start leaning on him in the second drive. But in the first drive, not a touch. Not a touch for Christian McCaffrey, and maybe that's why it was one of the rare times that the first drive came out and stalled. No points on the opening drive for the 49ers today. But he tried to do something a little different. And then Elijah Mitchell getting several touches in the first half. That felt a little, off. I don't want to say off, but you just that's Kyle playing off schedule a little, or doing things a little differently, right? A little counter move, because we don't see Elijah Mitchell get many touches, much less many touches in a row, and that's what he got. But it was a day where it felt like there was, at least in the first half, there was a decided effort and choice to sort of relish Christian McCaffrey touches, or spare them, or cherish them a little bit more, or not be so overly demanding of a player who, look, if Christian McCaffrey goes down, that's the year, kids. At any point in time, he goes down, that's it. They might be good, But their chance to be great goes out the window in that one injury alone. Should it occur, it would be devastating. Absolutely devastating. So that can't happen. I mean, it's the ultimate can't happen. But McCaffrey, again, he was good today. He didn't have an overwhelming game, but he was very good. And that guy hits slivers of daylight. You know, there's an old book written by some guy named Vince Lombardi, who I heard knew a thing or two about football. And the name of that book is Run to Daylight. I mean, you hear Pop Warner and high school coaches tell their running backs, you see a hole, hit a hole, run to daylight. You see daylight, run towards that. Stay away from the shadows. Those are the people. Run to the daylight. Christian McCaffrey can run through slivers of daylight. Christian McCaffrey gets big when he gets big, when he needs to get big. He gets narrow when he needs to get narrow. He's like an accordion. It's like he's got this ability to collapse in on himself or grow bigger with bigger shoulder pads when he needs that moment to be served. He turns into a wide receiver when he needs to be served in that moment. Turns into a ballerina doing pirouettes and spin moves when that moment needs to serve him. When he needs to get violent offensively, that moment serves him. When he needs to turn into a human Heisman Trophy, stiff-arming dudes, he turns into that. Christian McCaffrey is like a chameleon. He blends into the play as it's needed. So, hell of a run. Hell of a runner. And he didn't even have a hell of a day. That play, though, that first touchdown of the afternoon where Christian McCaffrey runs his pattern through the center guard slot. He's running a pass pattern out of the A gap. And Shanahan just drew this up perfect. He's got everybody going to one corner of the end zone. And here's Christian McCaffrey coming out of this traffic and boop, touchdown. Wide open as football is allowed in the NFL. As open as a player as humanly possible. Damon, facts, right? How about some facts instead of just trying to be spicy with the opinions? Although I did offer up what I did think was my spiciest taco kisses for Ben, the spiciest take of my week. And look, I thought that this was safe to say because I thought that, if the Niners are who we want them to be, who we think that they could be, if they really are a Super Bowl team, you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. Nothing can be assumed. We don't even need to play that one. That's the beauty of the NFL. That's why it's America's most popular sport, because anything can happen anywhere, anytime. That's the way it is. There's no such thing as that team can't be beaten today. Not in this league. Any given Sunday wasn't just a movie. It's a cliche for a reason. And the cliche is more believable and more true now than it's ever been. Very, very little difference between the worst team in football, whoever they are, Carolina this year, and the best team in football. I mean, there's a difference there. But it's not the NBA difference. It's not baseball's difference. It's the NFL's difference. And to look impressive week after week after week, again, the Niners are starting to do that again. They're starting to do that again. But my hottest take, the spiciest take, was going to be the loser of this game. Wasn't going to be, it was. The loser of this game wasn't going to win the Super Bowl. Now, that obviously, in my mind, applied much more to the 49ers. Because by winning this game, you're good enough to handle your business in a league where handling your business week to week is a hard thing to do. So handling your business, turning in that business card isn't as easy in 2023 as it probably was in 2013. So Niners handled their business today. They needed it, a good football team handles their business against a team that they're supposed to beat when they're at home, and the Niners did what they needed to do. Had they not done that, I was going to tell you, yeah, you don't lose at home to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and probably go on to win a Super Bowl. I was going to do that post-game show if that's the way that this day went. I was thinking that. I'm like, do I really want to sit here and declare you ain't winning a Super Bowl if they lose just one game with all this football still to be played? But I was going to do that show. We don't need to do that show. We don't need that show today. An unnecessary program. By the way, everyone, I've got good news. Smiley Dan is locating himself and he's checking in. He's safe, everyone. Smiley Dan safe. Thank God. Thank God Smiley Dan's okay. Wait a minute. I need a remote. We already got Sunday night football happening. Got to get it off the... Sorry, Fox Sports Focus. It's local high school stuff. I need the NFL stuff. All right. What else we got going on in this chat? Sean, Asta. Does that mean you had to leave, Sean? Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I see a lot of ripping of Grant. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not even engaging in that. It's, everything you need to know is now known. It's all been revealed as I thought it would be. It's one thing to get things wrong. It's another thing to not even know what you're looking at. That's the last I'll say about that. What else we got? It is, Matt Barrows reporting that Kyle suspects Hufanga is out with an ACL. That's not good. I'm glad that Jair Brown played well today. A little question here from Rock Eastwood. Warner or Willis? How about this? Why not both? What if I told you they got a chance to kind of be the same player? I mean, if you really wanted to talk about strengths, Warner is probably better against the pass than Willis ever was. Patrick Willis, as much as Fred Warner is a tackling machine, Patrick Willis was a tackling army unto himself. He was, what you talk about what James Harden with the quote of, I am the system. At one point, Patrick Willis was the entire defensive system for the San Francisco 49ers. Willis would be thriving in this particular defense if he were playing. I still think Fred Warner has more to play and more to prove in his career. And Patrick Willis, who's, probably called it a career before he needed to, like smart players do. Patrick Willis was on a trajectory of this guy might be one of the best linebackers ever. And he probably is the greatest linebacker in 49ers history. The second best linebacker in 49ers history is the guy we're looking at right now, Fred Warner. So you got column A or column B. They're almost the same thing. Which do you like? Depends on what you like. And what's really making them good is that, there was an element of Aldon Smith for a couple of years. There was an element of Navarro Bowman for a couple of years. Aldon, more of an outside edge rusher, but you had the way that you've got Warner and Greenlaw, you had Willis and Bowman. Then you had Ahmad Brooks, who was a badass back then too. But here's the thing: if you're asking the question between those two, and we don't immediately laugh at the question, because Rock Eastwood asks a legitimate question, the fact that that's a legitimate question is all you need to know about how good Fred Warner is. We're not laughing at that question. You can put just about anybody in football since Patrick Willis retired into that question, and it's like, nah, what are you talking about? Nah. I don't know how the airplane reference came about, but I'll always pause for an airplane reference when I see one because I'll never be over Macho Grande. Surely you can't be serious just busting out airplane references. Boomer T says, Damon, if Brock has time in the pocket, he just doesn't miss. He throws a catchable ball, does he not? He throws a catchable ball. And you know what? The thing is, when he doesn't have time in the pocket, he's usually not missing when he fires either. And that's what takes a guy from, are you good at it, to can you be great at it? That's when you go from, hey, he might be special, to he's special. How are you under pressure? I mean, I saw a chart this week that basically plotted quarterback success against diverse coverages. So what are you looking at? Are you looking at cover 2? Are you looking at cover 3? Are you looking at man-to-man? What kind of zone? Or what matchup zone? What are you looking at? All the coverages that you can name. Brock Purdy was the only one who has a positive quarterback rating against all of them. Again, what does that mean in his career? I don't know. But there's another data point that I really like. Brock Purdy, to his haters, right? To Brock Purdy's biggest group of detractors. Every single time he goes out and plays, basically, he hands them a bouquet full of data points that say, I'm pretty damn good at this. That bouquet of data points today gets a brand new flower, and that flower reads first perfect passer rating in a game from a 49er quarterback not named Joe or Steve. It's a good bouquet to be in. Oh, True Blue Forever would like a little bit more.
Maximum
Oh, you know what, too? I got to sneak this in here because Jillian went to Cal. She was very, very happy. Keeping that axe. California Golden Bears, roll on you Bears. Last time they battled for an axe in the Pac-12 conference. Now that's that old ACC tradition. So weird. So wrong. It sucks. Speaking of sucks, my man Otis Bird III, one of our fearless leaders of this chat room, one of the reasons why this chat room is one of the best you're going to find anywhere in sports, is because Otis and his army are the ones who started building it, fighting for it inch by inch, foxhole by foxhole. And he's right. It sucks about Hufanga, man. On what play did Hufanga tear his ACL? It's the one where he got dusted and was juked out of his own socks and tried to cut back on a, was it Rashad White? Was it Rashad White in that moment? Might have, or was it Rakim Jarrett? I think it was one of those guys. Made a great move coming out of the backfield on a swing pass, and Hufanga came up and he tried to stop his momentum because, again, he got juked a little, and trying to react to the juke is when it looked like his knee popped. I do believe you're right, though. I think that Jair Brown is going to be solid. And Jair Brown, I'll tell you, at Penn State, he played the run really well, and he had some hands on him too. And what do you know? He comes down with an interception today, and the first time we really feel him or see him in a game with significant snaps, he makes a hell of a play on Mike Evans in the end zone, and then he comes down with the "this game is over" interception in the end zone. It's pretty damn good. By the way, so is 49ers Wake Up. I want to remind you again, join Larry Krueger and yours truly for 49ers Wake Up, 8 a.m. California time on Monday morning. We're going to be doing it again on Friday morning because we're going to be waking up after Thanksgiving with a football game to be talking about on Friday. So a double dip. You start your week and you end your week Monday through Friday with a 49ers Wake Up. Hopefully you will be tuning in. We simulcast this on both our channels. So hopefully you hit notification, you hit subscribe, and you will be right back here tomorrow morning. That'd be great. By the way, how we're doing. We've added 31 subscribers, 31 of you since the show has started. Thank you very much for joining the family. Hit that notify button. Don't miss a thing that we're doing. And go ahead and drop a like on us while you're watching if you happen to like what you're seeing here. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, go ahead and hit that like button. Okay. What else we got? Looking at the chat. Just a shout out for Takeo Spikes, by the way, from Philip Don, Michael Johnson Thomas. Takeo Spikes was a good linebacker with the greatest neck in the history of sports. Two of the greatest necks, really, in NFL history were in Niners uniforms. Of course, Merton Hanks, one of the all-time necks, on the Mount Rushmore of necks. And then you got Takeo Spikes, who basically had quads for, what are these, trapezoids? Is that what they are? Trapezius? I think so. Purdy looks like the automatic pilot in Airplane from Cowboy. I don't know if you're wrong. I've never thought of that, but yeah, there's a little Purdy with that kind of smirk on his. I'm guessing you're talking about the smiling automatic pilot. When Elaine's giving him the, let's just call it, she's helping blow up the balloon again. A little. Again, Brock's got more traps than you'd think too. He's got a thick neck, thick thighs, thick quads on Brock, big hands. And he's got great eyes. Rocco says, Nick Wright is still saying that Purdy isn't good. It's the people all around him. What if we said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes? We haven't seen him in another situation. What if Patrick Mahomes were a Carolina Panther today? What do you think Patrick Mahomes looks like? Is he still Patrick Mahomes? I'm sure he'd show you flashes. But is he, I'm ripping up this league every time you look up, level Patrick Mahomes if he's a Carolina Panther? No, he's not. So I don't, look at it this way. In order to try to frame Brock Purdy in a negative way, at this point, you need to make up a hypothetical situation. Forget about what I'm seeing in the NFL as it's currently constructed and the team that drafted him and the only team that he's played for and the only team that he has to play for because you're only allowed to be on one team at a time. Forget about all of that. I think if in some world you could magically put him on a roulette wheel of good fucking luck with that and give it a good old spin, he might not be as good as he is in this situation. Wow. What a hot take. Whoa. You should have a TV show. Look, I really like Nick. I do. Nick and I are friends. But Nick has been about as wrong about Bay Area sports greatness as anyone has ever been. He was Mr. I don't think Steph Curry's good at this for a while. He was, I think the Houston Rockets are about to take the Golden State Warriors out. And then he was, well, LeBron, the guy that I love the most, is definitely better than the Warriors in any and all instances. And even though he was wrong 3 out of 4 times there in the NBA Finals, you know, if all you're going to do is either move or reinvent goalposts, I guess we'll never be able to keep up with those level of hot takes. Rocco, here's the thing. How about this? For the sake of argument, for the sake of just avoiding an argument about some hypothetical made-up nonsense, let's say for a moment, Nick Wright is correct. Nick Wright is right. If Brock Purdy were anywhere else, he wouldn't be half this good. He is C.J. Beathard in another uniform. You might be right, but we don't need, that doesn't matter. And it won't matter this year. And it won't matter next week, just like it didn't matter this week, just like it won't matter until he's in another uniform, in another scenario, on another team. You know, I mean, were you making the Tom Brady's no good until you saw him win a Super Bowl in Tampa? Were you that guy? You know, I don't know what to tell you. I thought Tom Brady was pretty good. You know, was he a system quarterback? He was in the ultimate system there for a while. Does that make him a system quarterback? Well, what if he is? What if being really good in the system you're in is what all great quarterbacks strive to be and do? You know, you can't be everything everywhere all at once. And, you know, and satisfy everybody's hypothetical made-up scenario. You can't do that. It doesn't exist. I mean, at some point, you sound like Booger in Revenge in the Nerds. What is it, 2 or 3? I think it's Revenge in the Nerds 2, where you're on the island and you're smoking huge joints, and you're like, what if CAT spelled DOG? Yeah, you know, Booger, what if? You're blowing my mind. You absolutely. That's I never looked at it that way. It's kind of the way I never evaluated a player outside of the situation that they were actually in. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what fictitious scenario in your mind is the test that needs to be passed before you can admit Brock Purdy is really good at this. Because here's what we have if we collect the evidence of this season. Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. Go fuck yourselves. That's what the evidence says. That's not my opinion. That's not me trying to get spicy. You know, if best by far quarterback rating and best by far passer rating mean anything in this league, if best completion percentage, one of them historically, means anything, then Brock Purdy's pretty damn good. And there's nothing to even debate. Okay, so then you want to get the statistics out of it. Well, look at all these wins that he's put up. Well, a quarterback is not responsible for all wins. Okay, so then let's go back to the statistics. Like, you know, you can't satisfy people who only want to argue. And I appreciate a good argument. I like some serious debate. But at some point, facts and the vacuum of the season in which this is being contested have to trump any and all hypothetical scenarios. That's just it. Damon, do you think that they'll sign Verrett after that Huff injury? Well, didn't they? Or did they add him? I mean, yes. I mean, Jason Verrett is in the house again. And obviously, he's a tough guy to depend on with his injury history. But when Jason Verrett has been healthy, he's been good. And maybe he gives this team a little bit more wiggle room in terms of depth, but I don't think Verrett's playing safety. I think Jair Brown is. All right, so there's one guy in here. Again, noodle arm. Clearly, this is someone who is just looking to get a reaction. There is no evidence whatsoever, because the guy with the noodle arm can't also have the greatest yards per completion average in football, right? So what we have here is someone who is just looking to get a rise and a troll, and we know how to do and deal with them. We ignore them. We just easily ignore them. That's the easy way to do it. Oh, I see some of you haven't just ignored him, which is probably why he's still here. I do agree with this, by the way. If Rock Eastwood is a real name, bravo, right? Rock Eastwood? That's straight up Burt Reynolds sitting in the jacuzzi and Boogie Nights going, fellas, these are great names. Philip Don Michael Johnson Thomas says, Damon, can we put the whole cooked turkey on the shelf behind you for Thanksgiving postgame? No, because that turkey's going down in the afternoon. So there won't be anything but carcass. We don't need a carcass behind me. But I'll have a little something to commemorate Turkey Day. And I was also talking to Jillian about, little Christmas lights once we get into that season. And again, hold off on your Christmas lights until after Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving, that weekend, is when you put up your Christmas lights. By the way, I need to remind you that the day after Thanksgiving is the day that the guardsmen move in the tree lot to Fort Mason. And then that weekend is the first weekend that the tree lot is open. I've been a guardsman now since 2011. It is a charity group in San Francisco. We raise money for at-risk youth. That phrase right there is a very large umbrella. There's too many kids who stand under the umbrella of at-risk youth. But that includes, bad situations, that includes juvenile delinquency situations, that includes foster homes, that includes a whole bunch of kids who are trying really hard to make it on their own. And what we do is set them up with summer camp, some fellowship. We take an iPhone out of their hands. We put a summer camp at their disposal. We get them out of the city. We get kids communicating with each other, and we offer scholarship opportunities to families and kids who really have a shot to do something academically. If they were to be found in a better situation, we make that situation better, and we fund their educations through the completion of their education. And that, to me, is a charity worth getting behind. Guardsmen Christmas trees down at the tree lot are expensive. It's because every Christmas tree represents a day of summer camp for a Bay Area at-risk youth, and we're going to raise millions upon millions of dollars for Bay Area at-risk youth. It's the Guardsman Tree Lot at Fort Mason. It opens the weekend after Thanksgiving. I hope you'll join me there. We're going to be doing shows from down there. I'm really looking forward to it. But yes, we will be decorating. And there'll probably be some Guardsman Tree Lot decoration behind me. And then we're actually going to be down at the Guardsman Tree Lot. Bryce Herber says, is Brandon Ayuk going to be a $100 million player? Maybe. He's one of those guys that might have that written out in the contract. Then let's look at the guaranteed dollars. But Brandon Ayuk is this team's best wide receiver. I don't think there's any question about that. Debo might set the tone. Kittle might be the Mack truck. But Brandon Ayuk is the Corvette. Not quite a Lamborghini. That's Tyreek Hill. Is CeeDee Lamb just declared himself the best wide receiver in football? I don't know if that's right or wrong, but he's in that small handful. And if we're talking about it's still a small handful. If you got two handfuls, I don't know if I don't know if Brandon Ayuk is in the one handful of great NFL wide receivers. That's Jamar Chase. It's Jefferson in Minnesota. That's a small handful of guys, right? In two hands, I think when you got two handfuls of elite best wide receivers in football, Brandon Ayuk is in this hand. Cooper Kupp is in this first hand. This first hand's really hard to get in. But you put it all together, two hands, I think Brandon Ayuk is a top 10 receiver in football. Top 10, top 12, top 15. To give myself the appropriate wiggle room and try to do this the right way, not be a slave to the to prisoner of the moment. But he's good. There's a guy who might be a system wide receiver. Is Brandon Ayuk this good anywhere else? Maybe these are more system wide receivers than anyone says, but we don't say that about wide receivers. He's a system wide receiver. Maybe this is a system wide receiver. I don't know, but he sure fits this system. Brandon Ayuk is running wide open. Whenever I take a look, running wide open. Look, I'm not going to be getting open in a pass route ever again. Not that I ever really would. But my bad knee is a lot better than a bad knee now, thanks to Hughes Orthopedics, our very first sponsor of the second half. And we're thrilled to have Hughes Orthopedics with the second half of this football season as the sponsor of the postgame show. Pardon me. Dr. Paul Hughes did a little regenerative knee cellular replacement therapy, and that is probably going to prevent me from having a knee replacement one day. Sure feels really good right now. Go to HughesOrthopedics.com. I'll tell you more about it as the season rolls along. We'll have more contact information. He was a late ad from our injury report. But Hughes Orthopedics is got some real new medicine to offer instead of a near barbaric level of knee replacement surgery that can be avoided once you see Dr. Paul Hughes. So we'll have more on that for you. True Blue Forever. You lift, bro? How about this? I could squat better now. Oh, you're probably talking about Takeo Spikes' his neck. The guy's shoulders, his traps, all of it was insane. Hey, Damon, nobody's talking about that kicking game, SD1593. No one's going to be talking about that avatar of yours either there, SD1593. You sound like a fucking droid or something. But, yeah, you don't talk about kickers when they make field goals the same way you don't talk about the offensive line when they play a pretty good game. Speaking of all-time necks, shout out Mike Tyson. No doubt about it. This is Mayfield wanted to swap jerseys with Christian McCaffrey. Was that like, did he break protocol or only quarterbacks supposed to swap with other quarterbacks? You knew he wasn't going to swap with Nick Bosa, right? That wasn't going to happen. But yeah, there's no problem there. They did. I saw them like signing autographs. You are right about this, by the way. Otto is the name of the automatic pilot in airplane. It is Otto. That is correct. And Leon's getting larger. Pardon me, stewardess. I speak jive. Damon, I love your channel. It's Fred's birthday today as well. Fred Warner's birthday. That's right. It was. I did see a happy birthday, Fred sign. I don't know if it was today, Fred Warner proper birthday or not, but happy birthday to Fred. Fred Warner played a hell of a game today. Hell of a game. Damn it, I hate you people. Now I'm going to have to start calling Brock Purdy Otto. Mountain Cat. Damon, is spitting facts even a cool saying anymore? I don't know, but it's certainly needed. Less opinions, more facts in this world, less made up shit. Clarissa Thompson. Thank you, Seabass. Kick his ass, Seabass. Ryan, Damon, was it you with the Ray Durham's at Momo's? Yeah, that sound drop back in the day happened when I was doing an old sports phone Giants game. Some guy called in, Damon, Ray Durham's at Momo's. That's me. That's me. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for being here. Ray Durham was at Momo's. I love Momo's. It's one of my favorite things about baseball season. All right, what else we got going on here? We got Sean Crowley who says, Damon, was a great day that he ripped millennials for listening to Skip Bayless. You hit them on the button. Great rant. He really did. You want to talk about somebody who dumbed up an industry. It was that guy right there. Look, this was a superior afternoon of football for the San Francisco 49ers, one that's got to leave all of them feeling really good. Unfortunately, it comes with one casualty. Talanoa Hufanga, torn ACL, done for the year, obviously, and that's a shame. But we got ourselves a really interesting game out of Jair Brown, who started and gave up a big play, like right away. And then the next couple times you saw him, he was covering Mike Evans, which is the toughest check you're going to get in that secondary. And he played him well on fourth down in the end zone. And then the next time you saw Jair Brown, he was sitting there in the end zone with the football, huge interception that ended the game basically. And there you go. So Jair Brown got his quick initiation and then played well. And that's a good sign. I'll tell you a couple of other things that stood out to me today. You know, I'm going to have to really rewatch this game and think about it a little bit before I'm able to come up with that's the biggest play of the game. There were a few plays which I think could have qualified for biggest play of the game. The most obvious one being the huge touchdown bomb, third play into the second half for the 49ers that put them up 20 and found, Ayuk in the end zone. That was a monster one. I don't know if we're going to find one bigger than that. But there were a few certainly game-altering plays where you got Warner stripping Baker Mayfield on a scramble where Bosa got half of that sack. I thought that the 3-play touchdown drive for Tampa Bay, exactly when Tampa Bay needed it to keep this game within shouting distance, was a big moment. Not a great moment for the Niners, but it was a big moment in the game. There was a 4th and 5 where Baker Mayfield found Mike Evans for a first down. That kept the game afoot, and then incomplete to Mike Evans on 4th down in the end zone. What I loved in this game, what I really liked is that you had Dean. I'm blanking on his first name, but Dean right now, the corner who got hurt, and he got hurt early. He got beat by Ayuk twice and was hurt on both plays. But Dean exited early with an injury, and then Brock went right after the new Tampa corner. That's what smart quarterbacks do. I'm going to test you. That's why Baker Mayfield went right after Jair Brown when he came in for Hufanga. You test the new guy right away. It's a smart thing to do. Mooney Ward was in a battle at the top of his routes without getting flags today. He got the 49ers off the field when he defended a pass that, he's going to the ground breaking up this pass, and he did it. I thought it was a good day for Mooney Ward, who I called Moses Moody earlier in the show. So good day for Mooney Ward. There's a guy that I guarantee you that we could talk about this game until we were all blue in the face today, and no one, because he didn't have a catch, he didn't have a target. No one's going to talk about how good of a game Charlie Warner had. Charlie Warner, and I want to go back again and watch this film, was involved on at least 3 different run plays with big blocks downfield, the biggest of which where he has 2 blocks on the same play where he's got Elijah Mitchell popping for 13 yards on Elijah Mitchell's first play of the afternoon. Charlie Warner was just hat on a hat blocking. The late Niner in motion in a run play who then comes out and kicks out someone that gets Elijah to the second level. Then Warner had rubbed off that block at one point to where he's now making a second block, same play downfield. Hell of a day for Charlie Warner, your blocking tight end. I guarantee you no other show's giving you that. There are only 2 things I didn't like about this game. Again, Brandon Ayuk on a day where he has a career afternoon, 5 catches, 156 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk also not knowing when to take the ball out of bounds cost the Niners a chance to run another play inside the red zone at the end of a half. That's not good. Got to do better than that, Brandon. Let's get our head in the game in all moments of the game. Take a play off. And I understand he was fighting for more yards, but time was more important than yards in that scenario, and he needs to know that. And I guarantee you he's going to get talked about. I guarantee you Kyle's already talked about it with him. He did it right at halftime. The Fred Warner pass interference. It's not that I didn't like the play. It's that I think the officials got it wrong. I thought that play occurred outside of the end zone and wasn't going to put Tampa right on the 2-yard line when you foul inside there, or the 1 yard on whatever there, wherever you go right to the doorstep because you got a foul in the end zone. I didn't like that. And that's it. Excuse me. That's what I didn't like. That's all I didn't like. 2 plays. And one was a play that I don't know how much better Warner could have actually made it. I mean, you'd like to see it happen without pass interference, but got a little bit of the body, and that's what happens, and it's football. Again, I have problems with mental mistakes. I don't really have problems with mistakes being made at 100 miles an hour. I thought it might have been a refereeing mistake. It was, how about this? Here's something you haven't said during many games at all this year. I thought today was a pretty well officiated game. No team had a distinct advantage. It was right down the middle. I'm sure that there are plays on both sides coaches would like to see cleaned up a little bit, but it was more on their players than it was overzealous officiating. Jonas asks a question. Is Brock too modest for his own good? Excuse me. Little frog in the throat. He only talked about his missed plays just now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Brock Purdy's a perfectionist. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I like that he isn't a braggart. And I like a guy who stays humble. And so do his teammates. And that's what I'm looking for. What else we got? What else we got? Dude at the game on TV was wearing a Lance jersey. Seems weird. Let it go. Yeah, you got to convert that thing and like back into a Garcia jersey or something. But look, a lot of people went out and they bought that jersey. It's why you don't buy a jersey until you figure out whether the kid's actually going to play or not. Look, Trey Lance's draft choice is part and parcel why no one wanted to bet on Purdy. And then even though he keeps on dealing blackjack, nobody still wants to bet on Purdy because he got that Trey Lance jersey. You just got that Trey Lance in your heart. It happened to people. Damon, have Jack do a handprint turkey. It's a pretty good idea. I could bring that. Jack actually brought home a handprint turkey from school this week. Might have to get a little handprint turkey. Oh, look at, we've got to take requests now. Damon, do a cornucopia on the shelf of sports memorabilia. Where am I supposed to get a horn? Where the hell am I supposed to get a cornucopia? My wife probably's got one, to be honest with you. I don't know. Would you say I had a plethora? Would you say I had a cornucopia? Damon, Thanksgiving draft this week. You know what I think we're going to do? I think this week we are going to take video calls for the first time on the channel, and we're going to let it rip with the Thanksgiving draft. The Trent Baalke Thanksgiving draft. Damon, you know that you can put your trolls in timeout. You know, this is what Jillian usually does. She cleans it up. I don't care. I like that you all know how to deal with it now. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you can tell. If someone is in the chat room trying to tell you what Brock Purdy isn't, why even bother? It's like talking to the drunk idiot at the end of the bar. Why even bother? Why even give that guy your time of day? Otis Bird. That was hilarious, Damon. Every time I see Momos now, it's all, I can't help but drive past Momos and think, Ray Durham was at Momos. Every single time I see it. All right. Jay Mill wants to ask, Damon, do they have 5 guys on the West Coast? Yeah. It's Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, we got 5 guys out here. 5 guys is good. I like 5. I like 5 guys more than In-N-Out. I think In-N-Out is an overrated burger. It's a wet burger, but that's another show. It's another time. It's too late in this show to bring up that kind of spiciness. Jamal Dean. That was it, Bryce Herber. Thank you very much. I forgot Dean's first name there for a moment, so thank you. Yeah, one of the things that we'll be talking about on my show, which begins at 11 a.m. tomorrow, that's when the Damon Bruce show will be underway. We are going to get into, was Formula One in Las Vegas good or bad? You know, was that good for racing or bad for racing? I'm not sure. I know it looked cool. I know some people who had like some VIP experience thrown their way were pretty happy. I've seen other people not so happy. You got a vet quarterback podium game right there, Sean. You're right about that. Brock Purdy does have a veterans podium game. Oh, JJ Rader. My boy bought 3 Trey Lance jerseys. Then again, he also bought the jersey of the former rugby player that only lasted a season. Oh, God, I remember that failed experiment. Damon, when we beat the Shithawks on Thanksgiving, hey, give them respect. When you beat the Seahawks, it's a division rival. Give them respect. When you beat the Seahawks on Thanksgiving, will you call Lumen Field turkey on the 50? Only if they allow 49ers to sit with, well, it won't be Michelle Tafoya. She's off like parading with Nazis or whatever she does now. But we've got Lumen Field, turkey on the 50. If they allow 49ers to sit on the 50-yard line and eat, yes, we will. But no team will ever allow that to happen. It will only happen to the 49ers, probably in football history. There might be turkey on the sideline. Turkey on the sideline? No, you can't. That's okay. Not good, but it's okay. I understand it. But to set up Thanksgiving dinner on the logo, it's always going to stick with Levi Stadium. I mean, you'll never be able to undo that. Yep, Jillian, she's like, can I bring the hooligans home now? Yes, honey, we're about to wrap up this show in just a little bit. Thank God for YouTube coming along as far as, so you had such great things to fall back on. I agree with you, Bryce. I mean, I don't know if there was ever a good time to lose a job, especially in the media, right? I don't know if there's ever a good time for that, but thank God it's happening at a moment where the reason why so much media is pivoting is because there's this to pivot to. You normally don't pivot to a more lush rainforest. You normally don't get to pivot to, well, I'm going to go somewhere where there's a bigger audience waiting for me. All they now have to do is find me. So that is the blessing of YouTube. You're right about that. And I'll tell you, when it comes to finding me today, 38 new people have found me. 38 new subscribers. And I thank you for it. Means an awful lot. Go ahead, hit that like button and hit that notify button. And like I said, we're going to have ourselves some holidays to spend together. I will be live at the 2-minute warning. Live at the 2-minute warning on Thanksgiving. I'm going to be live at the 2-minute warning on Christmas. It's the Ravens. I will be live at the 2-minute warning on New Year. Was that New Year's Day, New Year's Eve? Whatever it is, I'll be live at the 2-minute warning of every single game. And if you hit notify, you won't miss anything. I am live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. West Coast time. And tomorrow morning, Monday morning at 8 a.m. West Coast time, it's 49ers Wake Up with yours truly and Larry Krueger with the single best day after 49er postgame show in the world, if you don't mind me saying. And the two of us, former radio guys out here on Monday mornings when we're live, have more people listening and more people viewing us on YouTube than both KNBR and 95.7 The Game combined. So the people have spoken. And thank you for being part of that vocal group that has spoken a level of support to what we're doing over here on YouTube. It means an awful lot, and I thank you deeply for it. I thank the Niners for looking like a hell of a football team today. You know, there's that old saying that a win is good for sports talk radio, but a loss is great. Well, maybe that is true sometimes, but when you're looking at a team and you think you see a team of consequence, I want what's best for them. This team could go to and reach its season stated goals based on what we've seen in these 2 weeks coming out of the bye. They look rejuvenated. They look reinvigorated. They look rededicated. They look good on the line of scrimmage. It's unfortunate that Talanoa Hufanga suffered a season ender. It's not catastrophic. It's not good, but it's not a catastrophic injury. But it shows you how tightly sewn all of this is together and how easily it can come apart. Sean says, KNBR has fallen off. Look, all sports talk radio has fallen off. They can't afford to keep real talent around anymore. And that's the way it goes. Corporal Tez says, never a good time to lose a job, but glad you pivoted here. Been listening since your very first night on Sports Phone, taking over for Larry, and would be bummed if, like that, you were gone. Well, thank you very much, Corporal Tez. Thank you. You've been here now for the better part of 18 years, and that means an awful lot to me. So thank you. Again, meaning an awful lot to me are my sponsors. My Monday through Friday show are sponsored by my man Ike from Ike Sandwiches. Get yourself an Ike sandwich this week. You'll be very happy that you did. We always got love for Jack's in San Francisco. I'm not wearing a Jack's t-shirt tonight, but if you are looking for the single best collection of vintage Bay Area sports t-shirts and stuff that you can only find there, go to jacksff.com. Use promo code DamonBruce10 for 10% off. I want to thank mybookie.ag and use promo code Damon there to set up an account with up to a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Great place to do a little wagering. Great place to interface. Great place to play some blackjack, some slots, some roulettes. It's like hanging out on a cruise ship in international waters. There's no law there, lawman. No law here, law dog. And we want to thank our friends at Uncle Boy's. Great burger at Uncle Boy's. Get yourself one in a rich, stand up for Uncle Boy's. And our very new sponsor, the title sponsor of Postgame and Damon, Hughes Orthopedics, and we'll be telling you how to go ahead and explore some options that are superior. Absolutely superior options to the option that used to be, oh, hey, you're just going to need a knee replacement. No, you don't. You don't just need a knee replacement. That's not the way this works anymore. It's not the way it works at Dr. Hughes' Orthopedics. So go find out for yourself. Paul Coffey saying, solid tombstone pull. Thank you. True Blue Forever all over it as well. You hear that, law dog? Law don't go around here. Oh, there. That's it. I mean, that's the direct quote. I believe you're right. And there you go. What more would you like than an endorsement of a chef herself? The official chef of the Plus gang, the Plus Army, is Chef A. She says, I had my first Ike's a couple weeks ago. The best. The beast. Oh, that's a good sandwich right there. And yes, there is a Thanksgiving sandwich. A Thanksgiving sandwich. So you can check that out at Ike's. I'm a sandwich. You can order the Damon Bruce. But thank you. Thank you to Hughes Orthopedics. Thanks to our 38 new subscribers. You mean an awful lot. 39. How about that? 39 new subscribers. 11 more of you before we say goodbye. 11 more of you. With me. Ozzy, you want to come on in? Come on in. The 2-year-old wants to say hello. Hold on. Come on, buddy. Come on in and say hello to everyone. Jack, you want to come on in and say hello to everybody before we go? Come on in. This is Ozzy. Ozzy's excited. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Hi. There you go.
Hi.
This is what I didn't play. I'm not like using my kids for subs here, but this is why I need you to subscribe.
You said turkey.
Hi, honey. There is Mrs. Plus.
You said turkey.
We did say turkey because turkey's coming up. Turkey is coming up.
Turkey.
There you go.
And you also said. You also said.
What did I also say?
You also said something funny and I don't remember.
I said something funny and you don't remember? That's good. That's the way it usually goes.
You said a lot of funny stuff.
Oh, I said a lot of funny stuff. There you go. There you go. You like seeing yourself there, Oz? Yeah, you do.
I do.
You do.
I do.
I do. You do.
Now me.
Now, Jack wants up here, too. Say hi, everybody.
I.
Who won today? 49ers. You a 49er fan? Maybe I'm raising as Bears fans, and I haven't told you about it. No, they're born in San Francisco. There you go. Thank you so much for being here. Huge win for the 49ers. I'll be back at it at 8 a.m. See you. Oh, can you hear me over there? There we go. Kids loving it.
Funny.
Can you hear yourself? All right. We're gonna play with the buttons. We're gonna play with the buttons. What do we got here? It says, Damon, we need a Damon dad joke segment. I got to bring in Jillian for the dad jokes. I mean, dad jokes are basically terrible puns, and that's what dad jokes are. All right. As you can see, the boys are home, which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And I want to tell you that sports don't build character. They reveal it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., right here on Damon Bruce Plus for a little 49ers wake up.
I'm just fired up to be here today.
Howie.
Jack's found the buttons, which means we got ready, Jack. You ready? Hold on.
How does everything sound now, Jack?
Bye-bye.
How does everything sound now?
Bye.
How about now? Does that sound a little funny now?
What about now? Want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye-bye indeed. Sport don't build. No. Don't touch any more buttons. I got to wrap up in my signature style here, Jack. Hold on. Mrs. Plus, you want to duck in?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today.
There you
Go
go.
Niners.
Go Niners. All right. How do I wrap this up? I think I say sports don't build character. They reveal it.